Hello, welcome to part 2 of the Alaska State Constitution. My name is Amanda. I am Gen X Alaska. I am just a nerd who wants to know everything I can know about Alaska. Okay, continuing on from the last video. We are still in Article 1, Declaration of Rights, and we're on part 17. Here we go. Imprisonment for debt. There shall be no imprisonment for debt. This section does not prohibit civil arrests of absconding debtors. Eminent domain. Private property shall not be taken or damaged for public use without just compensation. Right to keep and bear arms. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The individual right to keep and bear arms shall not be denied or infringed by the state or a political subdivision of the state, amended in 1994. Quartering soldiers. No member of the armed forces shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner or occupant, or in time of war except as prescribed by law. The military shall be in strict subordination to the civil power. Construction. The enumeration of rights in this Constitution shall not impair or deny others retained by the people. Right of privacy. The right of the people to privacy is recognized and shall not be infringed. The legislature shall implement this section, amended 1972. Resident preference. This Constitution does not prohibit the state from granting preferences on the basis of Alaska residents to the residents of the state over non-residents to the extent permitted by the Constitution of the United States, amended 1988. Rights of crime victims. Crime victims, as defined by law, shall have the following rights as provided by law. The right to be reasonably protected from the accused through the imposition of appropriate bail or conditions of release by the court. The right to confer the prosecution. The right to be treated with dignity, respect, and fairness during all phases of the criminal and juvenile justice process. The right to timely disposition of the case following the arrest of the accused. The right to obtain information about and be allowed to be present at all criminal or juvenile proceedings where the accused has the right to be present. The right to be allowed to be heard upon request at sentencing, before or after conviction or juvenile adjudication, and at any proceeding where the accused release from custody is considered. The right to restitution from the accused and the right to be informed upon request of the accused escape or release from custody before or after conviction or juvenile adjudication. Amended 1994. Marriage. To be valid or recognized in this state, a marriage may exist only between one man and one woman, amended 1988. Article 2, the Legislature. And it starts with like a little content section, but we're going to skip that. Starting with legislative power membership. The legislative power of the state is vested in a legislative consisting of Senate with a membership of 20 and a House of Representatives with a membership of 40. Members. Qualifications. A member of the legislature shall be a qualified voter who has been a resident of Alaska for at least 3 years and of the district from which elected for at least 1 year, immediately preceding his filing for office. A senator shall be at least 25 years of age and a representative at least 21 years of age. Election and terms. Legislators shall be elected at general elections. Their terms begin on the fourth Monday of the January following election unless otherwise provided by law. The term of representatives shall be 2 years and the term of senator 4 years. 1/2 of the senators shall be elected every 2 years. Editor's note: the legislature has provided that the terms of legislators begin on the second Monday in January following a presidential election year and on the third Tuesday in January following a gubernatorial election year. Vacancies. A vacancy in the legislature shall be filled for the unexpired term as provided by law. If no provision is made, the governor shall fill the vacancy by appointment. Disqualifications. No legislator may hold any other office or position of profit under the United States or the state during the term for which elected and for 1 year thereafter. No legislator may be nominated, elected, or appointed to any other office or position of profit which has been created, or the salary or emoluments of which have been increased while he was a member. This section shall not prevent any person from seeking or holding the office of governor, secretary of state, or member of Congress. This section shall not apply to employment by or election to a constitutional convention. Editor's note: Senate Joint Resolution Number 2, changing the name of the Secretary of State to Lieutenant Governor. In 16 sections of the Alaska Constitution, approved by voters August 25, 1970, inadvertently omitted express amendment of this section. Immunities. Legislators may not be held to answer before any other tribunal for any statement made in the exercise of their legislative duties while the legislature is in session. Members attending, going to, or returning from legislative sessions are not subject to civil process and are privileged from arrest except for felony or breach of the peace. Salary and expenses. Legislators shall receive annual salaries. They may receive a per diem allowance for expenses while in session and are entitled to travel expenses going to and from sessions. Presiding officers may receive additional compensation. Regular sessions. The legislature shall convene in regular session each year on the fourth Monday in January, but the month and day may be changed by law. The legislature shall adjourn from regular session no later than 120 consecutive calendar days from the date it convenes, except that a regular session may be extended once for up to 10 consecutive calendar days. An extension of the regular session requires the affirmative vote of at least 2/3 of the membership of each house of the legislature. The legislature shall adopt, as part of the uniform rules of procedure deadlines for scheduling sessions, work not inconsistent with provisions controlling the length of the session, amended 1984. Special sessions. Special sessions may be called by the governor or by vote of 2/3 of the legislatures. The vote may be conducted by the Legislative Council or as prescribed by law. At special sessions called by the governor, legislation shall be limited to subjects designated in his proclamation calling the session, to subjects presented to him, and the reconsideration of bills vetoed by him after adjournment of the last regular session. Special sessions are limited to 30 days, amended 1976. Adjournment. Neither house may adjourn or recess for longer than 3 days unless the other concurs. If the two houses cannot agree on the time of adjournment and either house certifies the disagreement to the governor, he may adjourn the legislature. Interim committees. There shall be a legislative council, and the legislature may establish other interim committees. The council and other interim committees may meet between legislative sessions. They may perform duties and employ personnel as provided by the legislature. Their members may receive an allowance for expenses while performing their duties. Rules. The House of each legislature shall adopt uniform rules of procedure. Each house may choose its officers and employees. Each is the judge of the election and qualifications of its members and may expel a member with concurrence of 2/3 of its members. Each shall keep a journal of its proceedings. A majority of the membership of each house constitutes a quorum to do business, but a smaller number may adjourn from day to day and may compel attendance of absent members. The legislature shall regulate lobbying. Form of bills. Every bill shall be confined to one subject unless it is an appropriation bill or one codifying, revising, or rearranging existing laws. Bills for appropriations shall be confined to appropriations. The subject of each bill shall be expressed in the title. The enacting clause shall be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Alaska. Passage of bills. The legislatures shall establish the procedure for enactment of bills into law. No bill may become law unless it has passed 3 readings in each house on 3 separate days, except that any bill may be advanced from 2nd to 3rd reading on the same day by concurrence of 3/4 of the house considering it. No bill may become law without an affirmative vote of a majority of the membership of each house. The yeas and nays on final passage shall be entered in the journal. One moment. Veto. The governor may veto bills passed by the legislature. He may, by veto, strike or reduce items in appropriation bills. He shall return any vetoed bill with a statement of his objections to the House of Origin. And on that note, we will stop right there and continue in part 3. I'm Amanda. I am Gen X in Alaska, and I am just a nerd who wants to know everything there is to know about my beloved home state, Alaska. And you'll have to watch me walk off because I don't want to edit. Love you, bye.